And I never would have thought that like I would be so excited to go to work. And I guess everybody says like you won't work a day in your life if you love what you do, that kind of thing. But I genuinely love every day how like exciting and different every day is. Like
Yeah.
I'm actually excited to go do it and work with my hands, try out the trades. It's a skill that'll stick with you forever, even if you don't work in the field forever.
Hola, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Reliable Trades podcast. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and you like this video. And if you're listening to this on the audio over on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or any other platform, please leave a review. That's all free and it helps support the show and helps it get out to more people. And of course, I'm your host, Adrian Garcia. I am an HVAC technician, licensed contractor here in Texas, and I've been doing this about 18 years. And we just have a lot of good conversations with good people in different trades now, whether it's HVAC, plumbing, electrical. I've had some others in like auto mechanics, anything like that. You bring them on, have a good conversation, and hopefully get more trade awareness out there. So I appreciate everybody who's watched or listened, all the support and making this podcast successful and what it is now. I also want to thank the sponsors of the show, like Jobber, which is a CRM that we use to run our business, which is invoicing, quoting, scheduling jobs, maintenance contracts. It makes it so easy, and all our technicians on our team usually pick it up relatively quickly. I just have to show them what it is and they are able to get out there and start, invoicing everything that needs to be done. I can also update prices, client list, everything remotely, and they have it there on their phone, tablet, or laptop. It's been great running our business with Jobber now, and if you guys want a free trial and discount, make sure to check the link down below, getjobber.com/reliable HVACR. I also want to thank Vito Pro Pack, the best quality bags that money can buy, literally. Spring promotion is the best time of year by far. So check out Vito Pro Pack at your supply house or go to vitopropack.com to learn more. And the podcast is also brought to you by Local. Local HQ is a marketing that is geared towards the trades, and they can help you with your HVAC digital marketing so that you can dominate your local service areas with proven strategies that get your business more leads. They can help you rank higher on Google and all that you would need for your business. So reach out to Local at localhq.com/reliable and mention me or the Reliable Trades podcast and get 2 months of SEO for free. Paige, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I am good. I'm so excited to be on here. How are you?
Um, I'm doing pretty well. I mean, we've stayed
Yeah.
busy during this time. I know you're getting into HVAC now. Now, I inquired about this episode, trying to do like more plumbing stuff, and then I'm like, wait, I
Right?
saw you like on the rooftop working on some HVAC units. So I see
Yeah,
that you've gotten into that now. Is that keeping you busy right now? Like, is that what you're working on
it
primarily?
is. Yeah, so I have a real long story and I can totally share that
Oh,
with you.
I was gonna say we have a lot to unpack in this episode. Like I have
Right?
pretty long notes here, but yeah, you can start wherever you want to, I guess.
Yeah. So I started in plumbing. I went to tech school for plumbing and heating while I was in high school. So 4 years just learning like basic hand tools. I didn't know anything going in. So lots to learn with plumbing. I had a plumbing job, but then COVID happened in 2020. And that's when I was graduating. So I was not working in the field and I thought I would become a master plumber like after I graduated, I would just work in the plumbing field. But because I stopped working at that company, I decided to enroll for some scholarships. I got scholarships, so I studied construction management and HVAC. And then at a competition that I was at for Skills USA, I was just a spectator. I
Uh-huh.
see that there's like an HVAC company there. I go up to them and I say, "Are you hiring? Like, I'm looking for a job. I don't know much, but like, I want to." And they're like, "Yeah, come on in." So I get an interview and I get working with them. And that's been it ever since. I've been going to school still. So I just graduated. So now I'm not, but I was going to school like multiple days a week. So I would work half days and just like as much as I could, learning some very basic stuff. And now I started working more full time over the winter, which has been a great learning experience. And
So
yes, mostly
like,
HVAC.
how long has the HVAC thing been going now?
Probably a year. I got hired in April, but I've only
Okay.
worked like maybe 40 days total. So not like a lot yet.
So at that company, do they do plumbing too, or
They
just
do. They have
okay?
multiple sides. I have only really worked commercial service so far, and I'm always with someone else, so I'm not like problem solving on my own yet. I'm not there, but I am learning.
So commercial service HVAC.
Yes, yep,
That's that's what I love to do. That's my favorite thing. I'm not a residential
right.
guy. I've always been into commercial. I love seeing, the big equipment, the big problems,
Yeah.
being able to see how they work. Multiple compressors, multiple stages, the huge
Mhm.
coils, all that stuff has always been super interesting to me.
Yeah. Did you start learning commercial immediately, or did you learn residential first?
No, I dove in because my dad started a business doing kitchen appliances, right? So like at
Okay.
restaurants, at hospitals, he fixes like the
Yeah.
fryers, the stoves, all that kind of stuff. And eventually I just kind of like started, well, I helped him with when he started the business, he didn't know anything besides turning wrenches. So I
Right.
helped him like he got the the business going, the name, all the legal stuff, but like he
Mhm.
had no brand, he had no uniforms, he had no design. So like that's where I kind of came in because I was so good
Yeah.
at computers and I was always into tech and
Okay. Yeah.
doodling, which is like I always say the first logos that we had, I actually drew those in my notebook during my college classes. Like when I should have been paying attention,
Yeah.
I was there designing, what we were going to do. So
I
that's what I
love
helped
that.
him out.
That's how you know it's your real passion, though. Like
Yeah.
that's, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I helped him out with that, and then I wrote along here and there, like changing.
Mhm.
I've changed little parts on the kitchen equipment, but I wasn't
Right.
really into it. And then they brought up like, why don't you do HVAC? Because I like his competitors did both, or another
Right.
company would come in and work on a cooler, and he's working on a fryer or whatever it is. So I was like, okay,
Mhm.
that sounds cool, and I got into it, and I really fell in love with it. So I always had that path of commercial kitchen equipment, and
Yeah,
then
that's all you know.
it's expanded a little bit because they're like, oh, can you check our RTUs? Can you check our HVAC? Because I wasn't really
Mhm.
into it. And I was like, sure, I'll do that. Now we've done maintenance, we've done hospitals, we've done like schools, we've done
Yeah.
like, I've seen some, like, I stay on the light commercial side, so I don't see anything crazy. Like, I don't do chiller work
Right.
or anything like that. And
Okay.
really don't want to. But I've seen some crazy stuff, working at the schools and all that because they have
Right.
huge walk ins to work on.
Yeah. You've got enough to keep you busy. But there's always, that's
That's
one
what I
of my
always
favorite
say.
things about the trades. There's always more to learn if you wanted to. So that's perfect.
It's like if you get into the trades, obviously, like any trade is a good trade. You could be, my dad
Mhm.
used to be an electrician, so that's what he did for the
Oh,
longest
cool.
time. And
Yeah.
somebody gave him the opportunity, hey, you want to learn food service, and I guess it probably paid better. He was able to do more in that company, and he worked his way up
Right.
really quickly. And he took it
Nice.
as a challenge, and he learned it. And now he's like one of the
Yeah.
best in the area to where we're getting called out like, hey, we have a restaurant 6 hours away. Can you please come? Stuff like that.
Whoa.
So
Six
like,
hours is crazy.
well, we're hiring this year, so we're looking to expand to get people to be able
Okay.
to disperse, and
More local, yeah.
get a bigger service area because we do service, and that's the whole commercial side too. Is a lot of driving, so we do service like
Yeah.
2 hours where we're at. We're in the middle point, 2 hours each way, right? So like,
Mhm.
I get unlucky every now and then where I got 2 hours east, I got a call, and then I got 2 hours west. So then it's like a 4 hour drive
4
to the next one.
hours. Oh no.
I've been unlucky a couple times with that, but yeah, we're looking
Yeah.
to expand, but we want like some of the new guys to come in and do the traveling, you train them up, and then be
Right.
able to send them out to some of those calls where we can go every
Mhm.
now and then and supervise, but like we really want. It's just that we have good customers, so we have a lot of fast food chains, so
Yeah.
they have more stores if we service further, and I don't know. It's money on the table, so we're trying to get
Why
into it.
not? Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah, so that's that whole thing. But you've been doing HVAC almost a year now. How are you enjoying
Almost.
that? Especially coming from plumbing.
Yeah, it's not that different. Maybe people will
No.
hate that I'm saying that, but I'm enjoying it. Like, I'm just a trades girl. It doesn't matter what trade it is. If I'm working with my hands and like problem solving, I'm happy. So, like, I always joke around, but I'm kind of serious at the same time. Like, electrical's next because I started in plumbing. I'm learning HVAC. I'm loving it. I have a lot of background in electrical because of the HVAC stuff. So, like, why not just add the third one on there, you know?
Exactly.
But yeah, yeah, I'm really liking HVAC. The company that I'm working for is incredible. There's lots of training opportunities. I'm always growing. So yeah, and it's always changing. Like they just phased out 410A. So now there's a whole new learning curve for me to learn the what is it called? HOLs.
And then like which one are you going to use? Because some manufacturers want to go one way with one refrigerant, some
Right?
other ones want to use a different one. If
Yeah,
you ever did refrigeration, because I've always dealt with that. So I deal with like freezers have one, coolers might have another, small appliances
right.
have a different refrigerant. So like I'm used to carrying like 4 to 5 different
All of
kinds on my
them.
van, plus the
Yeah.
recovery tanks when you got to recover it. So
Mhm.
I'm used to it. I'm just not enjoying the fact that we're gonna have maybe two more to add this coming year.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can't like get rid of the other ones yet because they still exist out there. So just
There's
adding
still
more.
people with old equipment, and I'm all
Right.
about repairing things. We don't really try to sell new stuff unless they
New
really need it.
replacements. Yeah. Yeah.
And we do commercial, and in the commercial field, I mean, they're more likely to fix things because they need it now. They need it
Right.
repaired on the
Immediately.
spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys doing so if you're doing commercials, like what kind of accounts are those? Like is it schools? Is it malls? What kind of
I jump around with a lot of different people, so everybody has their kind of specific accounts, but I've been to like big warehouses, smaller shops, but they're still commercial, lots of hospitals lately. So I get to see it all.
the hospitals? I mean, one time they used to have us wearing a hairnet under my hat and then a hairnet
Hmm.
for the beard, and then like they would
Yeah.
always get after us. They've been a
All
little more lenient.
protection.
Yeah, but
There's a lot of
we
manufacturing places that I've been to lately where I'm like all ghettoed up, like with
do you
all the
got
stuff, you know.
the suit too or no?
Not the suit yet.
I've
But
seen
I
that.
need the gloves. I need the eye, like the eye protection. I need the ears and all the hair and hard hats. Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
ridiculous, but you need to.
yeah, because in the hospital we've tried to stay in the kitchen aspect, right? Because there's a lot there
Right.
too. So all the cooking equipment, the dishwasher, ice machines, we work on all that. And then they're like,
Cool.
"Hey, can you come up to, this floor and start doing like
Hmm.
all the cuz like the medicines, the blood work, all that machinery, like all
Oh,
there's
yeah.
HVAC in HVAC and
Great.
refrigeration in everything that you do in life. Like no matter where you go, there's going to be some sort of equipment that does refrigeration." And I'm like, oh, like I kind of we kind of like go back and forth if we should or not because that I don't know, that's a whole lot of other responsibilities and
Right.
stress that comes with that because we've done it before and we had to step back. And I like to do what we do.
Yeah. Stay with your focus. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's some companies that do it all, and I'm like, I don't know how you guys do it, but like
We
I guess
try.
we since we run our own business, my main concern is always like quality control and like getting the
Yeah.
best service for our customers. So that's always where I'm like I had to learn to dial it back a little bit.
Yeah. Someone could do this better than me and maybe let them.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
go call a chiller company. Like they will get you going
Right.
better than I could. Like don't put that on me.
That's one of the hardest things in the trades. So like for a little while between working this HVAC job and like when I was just going to school and everything, I did like a lot of plumbing side jobs on my own. And that's the hardest thing. Like I don't want to say no, but like
Oh yeah.
sometimes I'm just not skilled to do whatever you're asking me to do. And it would be better if you called someone else. But saying no is like the hardest thing for me,
We
especially
had to
because I'm like
learn.
willing to challenge myself.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm the same way, but we had to learn that when we started our business. Like,
Mhm.
we said yes to everything, like all these weird calls, construction, like all this stuff that I'd never done before.
Yeah.
And then you realize that you can't do everything that well.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then it just looks bad on you. And like, I mean,
Exactly.
I learn what I need to. I've always learned after work, trying to get better. But there's only so
Yeah.
much you can do, especially us being a small company of like, we're usually around 4 people. Like, we're
Okay.
and
Yeah.
we're taking care of like fast food restaurants, like all these big companies. It's
Everywhere.
like
Yeah.
we're stretched thin. So like we had to learn to say
Mhm.
no or
Yeah.
hold back, and then like either learn it later or learn it, when we
Right.
can or whatever, and then kind of incorporate it, like
Slowly.
in the trades. I mean, everything's a skill. So I mean, you can keep adding skills and adding
Yeah.
value, and I love that because I do what I do, but I'm more, I have to be more on the business owner side of things. But I
Mhm.
love the guys that we get that can do like the hot food side, like the cooking side. They can do the refrigeration side. They can do the HVAC
Yeah.
side. I'm like, yeah, soak it up. Like, learn as much as you can because
Do all of it. Yeah.
we'll pay you more because you're worth more.
Exactly. Yeah, you're more valuable. I love that. That's interesting. I want to learn about the cooking stuff. I like we work on like we do a lot of maintenance recently, but then like just like checking if everything in the heating system's
Have you done
working.
like
Yeah.
restaurants?
Not like the
Well, not in the kitchen,
equipment.
but like, have you done the HVAC on restaurants?
I've done refrigeration, like beer coolers, and
Okay.
yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not the cleanest job. I mean, I know you did plumbing, but like that is always
Yeah,
everybody's complaint is all the grease,
it's
um,
gross. I believe
all
that.
the pests and stuff like that.
Oh
Like, I try to
gosh.
warn them about things. I pulled off it's a running thing that I always say, like, I pulled off a thermostat one time off a wall because it wasn't making good
Yeah.
contact. It wouldn't switch over or something. And
Okay.
I turned it over and it's full of roaches and all that, kind of crap in there,
Oh,
like all covered completely.
caked in
You cannot
there.
see white
Jeez.
on that side. And I showed the manager, I'm like, this is why your thing's not working. And
Right.
they're like, oh, I figured, they kind of saw it as a normal thing. I was like, oh, okay. So don't go to that restaurant. That's a mental
Yeah.
note that I did.
Right. That's
I always,
every restaurant then though.
they're bad. You can think of like the biggest name, the biggest restaurant. They're probably the worst ones. Like, I hate to say it. So I
Yep.
always tell
I
people, like,
know.
don't ask me about a restaurant because I'll tell you what it looks like in the kitchen.
Yeah. Yeah. I have more experience. Like we used to go to a lot of fast food places with a plumbing company that I worked with, and it was always
Mm.
so nasty. They would call us for different things, but just walking through like the back kitchen area, I'm like, wow, I can't believe I eat this stuff, you know?
Or the ice. I work on a lot of ice machines now.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
everybody is bad. Like, there's some managers that are like OCD. They have a schedule. They
Care
have
about
everything.
cleanliness.
Like,
Yeah.
those are cool. Those are the good ones.
Right.
But sometimes you're running into an ice machine and it's like, ones that, like, I see some that don't even have water filters on them. And then you open it up and there's gunk inside, and there's
Yeah.
like the ice will come out looking clean, but everything that it passes through like is dirty.
Touching. Yeah. Oh. Oh
So that's
gosh.
another thing. But I try not to, I mean, I work in restaurants, but I try not to think about it. I'm like, I'm still gonna eat,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Quality of life. Yeah.
Like, what are we gonna do at this point? I feel like my immune system is pretty, built
There
up
you
from the
go.
trades. So here we are.
Yeah.
I also want to thank Diversitech. They simplify your work. They have everything a contractor needs to complete a job. That goes from equipment mounting, condensate, management, tools, maintenance chemicals, electrical components, indoor air quality, and much more. They have different branches under the same umbrella. More than likely, you're already using some of their products or tools. So go check out diversitech.com, and it's your one-stop shop for everything HVAC. I've gotten a lot of compliments on these line set penetration covers. They're basically, when you get an install done, you have the line set coming out the house or whatever a wall you came out of. You normally have to put like foam spray or cover it up somehow. Eric's has these covers that just look professional, and I like the form factor. I've seen others, and they're a little bit too bulky. This one, it just gives you what you need. They have two different models. If you need a slimmer one, they have that too. And what I really like is they finally have now one for existing line sets. Now it's two pieces, and you kind of just put them together over the line set and then mount it and drill it in. And it's a good selling point to make an existing install look better. I've gotten so many compliments, like I said. So make sure you go over to ericsmfg.com and check them out. So how many years have you been in the trades, basically, because you do
Yeah.
several?
If the 4 years that I was in school count, this is
Was
nine
that
years, which
was
sounds
that high
crazy.
school or after high
Yeah.
school? No, you went to a school that offered that, right?
I went to a tech school like in high school. So I would go half day to my academic classes and then half day I would just be like playing with pipes.
That is so cool. I wish I had that,
Yeah,
because that was not something I knew about, going to school.
right.
Like, hey, career day, cops,
Yeah.
firefighters, lawyers,
Yep.
all this other kind
Yep.
of careers. And same thing whenever they told you about that, or if there was you go and forgot what they call those, like the ones where they set up places and you visit the little booth and like, oh, what do you want to be?
Hmm.
And
Job fairs and all that.
job fairs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
They never had too much of a spotlight on trades. So like, I
I
wish I
know.
had known about that. There was welding,
Yep.
but I was never really into welding, stuff like that. But that was really all they had.
Yeah. Well, that's one of my main goals actually is to start working on that like recruitment. And I call myself a skilled trades advocate. So I just like anywhere I can, I'm harping that like this is an option. You should explore more opportunities than just like what everybody tells you to. It might be non-traditional, but it's so necessary. So like explore those options, just making it more accessible. So,
It's so awesome. Especially that you're doing that. So like, I started posting just to show like the crazy things that I saw at work. Cause like I said,
right.
working in kitchens, I see a lot of weird things sometimes.
Hmm.
And I was like, I'm just gonna like post it. And then I also wanted to
Here and there.
advertise like the business. I
Yeah.
quickly found out that that wasn't going to work, because I had people from like Germany and New Zealand and like all
Hmm.
across the nation too, randomly, messaging me, commenting like on the work that I did and what I saw. Like,
Right.
I was like, okay, I'm not getting the people locally, but like there's something else here.
There's a community for sure.
It's so cool to go online and meet people from like all over the world, basically.
Yeah.
And they're so nice. They're so, positive about like, they
Yeah.
can be passionate about their work, and you can talk to them. And I've learned so much. And then I just
That's what
started
I was gonna
posting
say.
more and more. Yeah.
Yeah. I've learned so much from like all of these people that I've been connecting with, following and all that. Like they're working out on the field. They'll send me a video. This is what I did today. And I'm like, tell me about it. Like, what is this? From all over the world. Like, that's so cool.
I know. I love doing that. Like when I have I have another podcast with some guys, and we do it as a group,
Hmm.
and we take like live questions. And I always want to know, like, what does everybody's work day or work week look like? What did you guys do today? Because I just want to
Right?
get into it and see what, something I could learn or something I hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
And it's so
Yeah.
cool. Like I said, you get people from everywhere, and everybody is different, but they're on the same page. Like there's a
Hmm.
lot of similarities,
Right.
because I was just talking to somebody else about it. Like there is, locally, I might not be able to talk to too many technicians that are that
Yeah.
passionate. And then you go
Yeah.
online and there's a ton of them there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then like you had that little head start uh,
Hmm.
of the tech school. What
Right.
made you decide that? Because like if you did 4 years, then you got into
Hmm.
that super young.
Yeah, I was 15, I think. My parents own investment properties, so I grew up like painting and just doing like simple jobs around those houses, fixing them up to make them move in ready for people. And I thought, I want to be a real estate investor when I grow up because that's what my parents do and they like it and I like working with my hands. So let me go learn a trade because then we don't have to pay all these professionals to do it. I can do it. So I
Hmm.
went into school for plumbing just to like have some knowledge on that, but I never planned on working in the trades. Like that's not what I thought my path would
Yeah.
look like. But as soon as I got into it, I was like, yeah, there's so much growth for this and like I want to know everything. And I know I'll never know everything, but that's like what's fun about it. So that's what got me started into it.
So your parents, you had to fix up a lot of houses and things like that.
Hmm. Yep, yep.
Was
And
your
we still
dad
do.
specifically in a trade or anything?
No, he works on computers. He's got an IT
So
job, so
he's
he like takes conference calls and he's always just typing.
so he's just handy.
Yeah, yeah. My mom, she went to school for nursing, but then she had all me and my sisters pretty young. So she was a stay-at-home mom and started getting into real estate investing and kind of we all
Mm,
taught each other, like we taught ourselves how to work with our hands and be handy and get things, the right way. We're very self-motivated people, so we figured it out as we went along.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So then I assumed you tagged along, you helped out, you got into it
Mhm.
that way. Did
Yeah.
you just realize that you liked building or working with your hands?
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like most people like the trades as a second choice. So like they'll go to school and they're not doing well and that's why they choose the trades. I was a
Yeah.
straight A student. I was top of the class. Like it's not a second choice. I just like doing that. And I didn't have to sit in a classroom all day and be bored out of my mind. Like I was working with my hands, making something like building something and making something work. Like bringing water into a home is really
Oh
rewarding. So
yeah.
that kind of thing. Like, yeah.
Things you take for granted, you don't realize that, there's a trade person
Right.
behind that making it
Making
happen,
that
right?
happen. Yeah. Yeah. We with snowstorms and stuff so often here we lose power a lot and
Oh
like
yeah.
that's when you really start to appreciate these professionals and like when it's below freezing temperatures outside and your heat's not working like you have to call someone in and it's like you need that immediately. So, yeah.
And that's my whole thing because even like with my kids, so like I want I mean my son, he's 11, he's a little older, he's getting into like video
Hmm.
games and trying to get him out more, but like that's what he's into, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't care what I do too much. Now, our daughter is 9 and she's like just a
Yeah.
curious kid. She always wants to know what I'm
Good.
doing. She's
Yeah,
helped
show
me like
her.
clean my van and she's like pretending to fix something in the corner. She's like, "Dad, I need the screwdriver or whatever it is."
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool, right? But I mean, I'm never going to push them into anything that they don't want to do or like
Hmm.
be like, "Hey, do this, do that." Now, now what I would want to do is teach them some skills because that is just like you said, like you were doing it because your parents had that rental thing
Hmm.
going on, right? Like you had to fix these up for a different reason. You weren't
Right.
specifically getting into the trades to be a
Right.
plumber
Just have
or
that skill though.
a technician, but it was a skill that you could
Right.
use and it was helpful. So like me, I want my kids to learn, how to fix things around the house because that's a big thing
Yeah.
if you're a tradesperson. I hate calling people. So like if I can fix something, I'll do it first.
You'll do it. Yeah.
Or my car, I'll try and work on my car. I've done my, oil changes or you get stranded on the side
I
of
need
a
to do that so bad. Or change my oil.
and I've been stranded on the side of the road because I've had some cars that just like break every now and then. So
Right.
once I
But
got
you've
in,
got
because
like skill.
yeah, but I was never like that myself. I was into
Oh,
sports.
really?
I was
Yeah.
into tech stuff, gaming, that kind of
Right.
stuff. And not until I got into the trades, I got really like I learned quickly and I was pretty good at
Mhm.
it. So after
Right.
that, I'm like, I think I can work on my car. I think I can do this. So then
Yeah.
I changed out, radiators and, parts under the hood.
Mhm.
I worked on the AC systems of a few cars.
Yeah.
So I fixed a lot of my own things. So, learning the skills of just a tradesperson in general, you can
Yeah.
do so much,
It
other than
gives you
that.
more confidence for sure. Yeah. And just like mechanical knowledge in general. If you're like inclined to learning that kind of stuff, the rest of it's easy. Like maybe you don't know it exactly, but like I don't know, there's only so much like lefty loosey righty tighty and like you're not going to break it more if something's already broken. That's what I always say.
I know I've told that to the guys that are new, when we get
Mhm.
new employees or people want to come and learn. I was like, Look, I'm gonna go with you, but don't be afraid to touch it or work on it
You do
because
it.
what are
Yeah.
you gonna do? Like, if you break it, I'm right there. We'll fix it. Like everything's
Yeah.
repairable. Like you can't, like you said, you
Right.
can't like make it that much worse.
Right.
And I've done plenty of those mistakes where I have to go and
Part of
fix
the process.
my own things. You
Yeah.
go for one thing and you break another. Okay, we're gonna just fix both of these things
Mhm.
and move on. So I've told people, get your hands on stuff. Don't be afraid to work on
Right.
it because I can fix it. Now, if the whole point of that is like I'm there to cover your mistakes or kind of guide you,
Mhm.
and if you make those mistakes, I can fix them or you learn from them because like the whole point is like the next time I don't want to be out here with you, right? I want you to run your
Yeah.
own calls.
You'll know. Mhm.
I can just send you out. That's
Right.
the whole point.
Yeah. And same with the kids. We got a little off track with that, but like teaching the
Yeah.
kids any type of hands-on skill, like they'll be able to figure it out then on their own. And I think it's crazy how many homeowners don't know how simple things in their house work.
Yeah.
So that's so important. Like if you could teach your daughter how to like do some things at home, she'll have the confidence to get into more when she's a homeowner. Like she won't be afraid or unsure of what like her house looks like and how it works.
Yeah, it's funny because I had another guy that was like a handyman
Mhm.
that I just did an episode with. And I had to ask him because I've heard him talk about it before. What are the weirdest things that some a homeowner has called you out for, right? And he's like,
Right.
you'd be surprised. Like they might be afraid to do something, or maybe they can't, but like
Right.
sometimes they're just afraid, like they don't know that there's what are those, the GFI outlets, the
Mhm.
reset buttons on those, or
Yeah, just
uh
push it in.
some little thing is leaking and it just needs to be tightened, stuff like that. He's like,
Mhm.
a lot of things that I would think, can be done by a
So
homeowner.
easy.
It's just
Yeah.
that they don't know, they're not handy. So,
Yeah.
like you said, that I want my kids to be able to like, change an outlet, change a switch,
Right.
repair a leaky faucet, whatever it is,
Mhm.
and then
Yeah.
maybe change a tire if they get stranded somewhere, like be able to do
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Good.
And they don't have to
You're a
be in
good
the
dad.
trade, but yeah, I was like, they don't have to be
Right.
in the
Yeah.
trade, but I'll give them the skills.
That's actually like, so I think I came up with children's books, and that's why I wrote them. Not necessarily to get everybody working in the trades, but to learn how things in their house work. Wow, look at
There you go.
you. Cool.
So,
Yeah. Let's replace a shower head. Is that
is this the
live right
first one?
now?
Yes, I have it right here.
Yeah. Dude, that's so cool.
Is that the first
I
one that
love
you
it.
did?
Yep.
So, okay, I had this in my notes, but we can go about it now. Like,
Yeah.
what was the
Sorry.
reason behind this, and what was kind of the process of doing this? Because like this is available like on Amazon. If anybody's interested, I can leave
Hmm.
that in the description and all that. But you have books out there, like that's
I do.
crazy.
Yeah. The, my sister's really into writing. So she wanted to be an author. Growing up, that was like one of her big things. So then big sister Paige comes in and does it first. I don't know. My mom told her like because all three of me and my sisters went to school for plumbing, and then during COVID we weren't really doing anything, and I had an app that you could draw on. So I just started drawing, and I was like, let's like
So
tell a
you,
story of
yeah, so
doing
you
something at
sketch
home.
all of these books too yourself, right? You didn't have to outsource. Like you were
Yeah,
able to
I
do
did it
this
all.
all on your own.
Yep. So I just like kind of created a like illustration and a storyline and wrote it, and then before I knew it I was published on Amazon, and that was like the steps towards the first book. I was just kind of inspired to share how it works, and then
Yeah, and you
it
got
snowballed.
3 so far. And
Three.
these
Yep.
are really cool. I just got these in because I was looking for another set because I know another guy that did a couple. I think he did an HVAC one and a
Oh,
plumbing
okay.
one. So I just
Yeah.
ordered those and I was looking for them because like my daughter had taken them and I was like,
Mm.
trying to locate them because I was going to have him on another episode, but um
Yeah.
these are really cool for kids because they can kind of see what we
Thank you.
do and
Right.
not,
They're
I don't
easy
know, there's
enough to
like,
do at home.
yes, these are easy things to do because you got to replace a shower head, running toilet, and what was the other one? Snake a drain.
Make a
These are all
dream.
things I think you
Yeah.
should know how to do.
Right?
as a
Yeah.
homeowner. So that's kind of cool seeing them in book form for kids because my son, he reads all those children cartoony stuff, and if you
Mhm.
just put it in a form that's interesting but
Right.
informative, they're gonna read it. They're gonna be like, oh, that's what you do. Because like trying to explain to a kid what we do, like as a plumber, as a electrician,
Yeah.
HVAC tech, like it goes over their head, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm actually working on an HVAC book next. So that'll be I have like I think the plan is 3 book series. So Plumber Page
Okay.
is the first one, but I'm going to do 3 books on HVAC
So we're
next.
gonna do
And like
HVAC page.
maybe that right? I know, I keep saying too, like I need to change my name. Like so you called me out as Plumber Page to be on your show and I'm over here being HVAC Page right now. Like who am
Yeah.
I? Yeah,
But this is really cool because you drew all these, you came up with
I
this,
did.
so you were able to put that together. I can see the progression on it though.
Right? You can, yeah. The book,
So
like the illustrations get so much better as the time goes on.
and it'll be better next time too for the next series.
Hopefully. Actually, I am hiring an illustrator now because art is not my thing. So I'm hiring someone to outsource that, and
And
it'll just make it better for everybody.
what's been the feedback on the books?
Good. I don't market it nearly enough. So like the
Yeah.
people who find out about it are really excited about it, but it's not like huge or anything because I'm not like sharing it with the world enough. But the people who do read it, like they're always saying like my kids actually walk away like ready to do the job, wanting to do it.
Hey, that's cool.
They do it with their parents. Like that's so cool. And they like so I do this like man on the street trivia type of thing. So there's like this show that's on and you can watch it on YouTube or on Instagram. And then kids who watch it, if their parents are playing it in the background, the
Oh,
kids know
that's
the
right.
answers. So that's like so fun and cool because they read my books. They know what the answer to these questions are. Like, I love hearing those stories. And then kids, like, even like high school and middle school kids, if they look at it, they'll be like, I learned something too. Like, it's not just for elementary schoolers. Anybody can read that book and be,
And
educated.
that's a cool way to go about it because like you said, you kind of put it in this book form. You have the
Right.
illustrations, you have all this information in this book to where it's like a little step by step, but it's like a simplified
Yeah.
version. And any, like you said, anybody that reads it, even a kid, they go out there,
Hmm.
okay, finish the book, let's go change a shower
With
head or whatever it
parental
is.
supervision. Hopefully.
Yes,
But
but
yeah.
they have an understanding now of
Yeah.
how to do something. And if
Right.
you can continue on a little series, I mean, maybe you can do some
Hmm.
different things that maybe they should know around the house. Like
Yeah,
you said,
exactly.
doing things here and there, that'd be kind of cool.
Right? And it increases their vocabulary. Like nobody knows what slip joint pliers are, but if you read my books, you do.
Exactly,
So,
because
yeah.
I knew nothing of that. I didn't even know how to use the power tool until I started
Right.
working with my dad. And that
Yeah.
was later. That was later. I was like 20 or 21, when that
Hmm.
happened. And yeah, I was like, I didn't know anything. I was not handy whatsoever. I didn't
Right.
touch anything. I didn't mess with anything until I got in the
Yeah.
trades, and then learning is a struggle. Like your first few years, I know you did the school thing in high school, but like the
Yeah.
first few years,
In the
you're slow
field.
at everything. You don't know what you're doing, but that's okay because that's your learning
Yeah.
time.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm trying to showcase that part of it because I'm over here owning the fact that I don't know everything. Like I mess up, I struggle often, but that's why you find companies that will support your growth and teach you things. And I'm showcasing like the step by step of like I don't know everything, but it's okay. And that's like one of my biggest messages for my audience is like you don't need to know everything as you're getting into the trades.
I stumbled on that aspect of it because I think I posted something and I like completely messed up. I had the wrong part.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
was like, screw it. I'm gonna still post it. And I fixed it, but I
Right.
struggled along the way because I didn't do it right the first time or whatever it was.
Yeah.
The views skyrocketed on that video at that time because it was like
Yeah.
a on my early YouTube years.
Yeah.
and the amount of messages that I got. Now there's going to be some negativity. That's always with
Haters. Yeah.
uh social media and all that. So like that's another thing is obviously don't pay attention to the negativity, but like that's I admire everybody that's on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever it is,
Right.
because you got to deal with that. So that's a big part of it.
Right.
But I had a lot of positive messages. Like, I'm
When
so
people want
glad
to help you,
that, but yes, I've learned so much from the comments. Like, whenever I don't know
right?
something, I just admit it. And they're like, okay, this
Yeah.
is what that does. This is what it's called.
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's the
that's what I
best.
love. I learned something, but also the messages that I get, like, I'm so glad that you showed that because I
Mm.
think for a long time, a lot of social media was just like the final product of something. Like this
Right.
was done, and people make it seem
You don't show the
easy.
process. Yeah.
Nobody was showing the process or the struggle or anything like that. So like,
Right.
I love that people are doing that more now. And like you said, you're kind of trying to
Yeah.
put light on the struggle part. Like
Hmm.
there's a learning process. So like, I got a lot of messages that
Right.
were like, I love that because everybody whenever they try to post something, they get shot down in the comments.
Mhm.
I'm like, nobody's perfect. Nobody knows this
Right.
like instantly. You're gonna have to learn it, and I still screw up. I mean, it's a part of it.
Yeah. That's reality. And like, I work with some people who are older than me. Well, not at the company that I'm with now, but I've worked with people who, men older than me, I'm like, come on, common sense how to use a drill. But some people don't know how that works. And like, that's really
Yeah,
cool that I know that stuff. And maybe I should twist it instead of being so negative and like, come on, you should know this. Like, let's learn, you know? And that's,
yep.
yeah, I love all the positivity of all of it.
I also want to thank our new sponsors, CallRail. So I've been more into marketing and just online presence with our business, even though we only do commercial. Word of mouth is really good for any business. But once you get to a place where you want to be, a big name online or just anywhere, be recognizable, like I said, online presence, have a nice website, be able to be searchable in Google and all these different search engines, and just have a big presence. You need to know where to spend your money, and all I'm going to say is that CallRail can help you track that if that's something that you're interested in. CallRail can tell you, hey, these are not working so much. These are working really good. Stop spending your money here. Put more money and effort into this, and just be smarter about what you spend. So make sure you go by callrail.com. They do have a no risk free trial, and you can check it out for yourself. I also want to thank another new sponsor, Residio. Basically, they help with a sustainable home, and they make it a safer, cleaner, and smarter home. They have so many things that work together. They were showing me the new thermostats that they have going on, how it's implemented together, and all these different little, smart devices that connect and talk to each other. So if you want to learn more, head over to residio.com and check it out for yourself. I love challenges. I love working on stuff that I don't know, or maybe I can learn
Right.
on it. And
Hmm.
sometimes I film it, and then I'm like, if you can't help me out here, then I don't have time for your comment, because like I
Right.
don't know everything. I'm learning here too. Like it's always, and
Yeah.
that's what I love about the trades. You're always learning something. You're always gonna not know everything, and
Yeah.
that's the exciting part. I could never go to the same job every day in the same desk, doing the same thing
Hmm.
over and over. I get even tired here doing like the business part of it, because my dad
Right.
sticks me with all that stuff. So,
Yeah.
and my dad's the same way, because he'd rather be out there, actually working on
Yeah.
things. So
Everybody wants the fun stuff.
I would
I
love to
know.
be
Who would have
doing
thought
all the
to,
calls.
right? And I never would have thought that like I would be so excited to go to work. And I guess everybody says like you won't work a day in your life if you love what you do, that kind of thing. But I genuinely love every day how like exciting and different every day is. Like
Yep.
I'm actually excited to go do it and work with my hands. Like of course I'm being safe because I know you can wear your body out quickly and then you're not as excited to go to work. But like
Hey, I get made fun of sometimes because I started taking care of myself. I cover myself because we have the sun
good.
to worry about all
Yeah.
year. So
Yeah.
I cover my arms. I cover I wear a big hat, knee
Yeah.
pads. Everything I have
Right.
now is on wheels. Like I'm always trying to figure out something to carry on the roof
Yeah.
a better
Yeah.
way. And they're like, "Oh,
Work
why are you
smarter, not
being?"
harder.
Yeah, but then people are like, why can't you hack it? Why can't you do this?" I'm like, "Look,
Yeah,
in like 10 years from now, I'm still going to be able to do this, but if I
yeah.
don't take care of my body, I won't be able to."
Yeah, it's a pride thing, and I get it. Like, I love looking like all strong and beast mode,
Yeah.
but I don't care. I'd rather like protect myself, you know?
The last time I showed up my brother because he was telling me something and I'm like, "No, look, just lift it." I
Right.
lifted a big compressor out of spite because I was like, "Look, I can do it. Like, just do it."
Yeah,
My back hurt for the rest of the week. I pulled my back.
yeah, yeah.
So I was like, "No, I'm gonna be smarter next time."
Think about it. How am I gonna do this? Yeah, good.
My brother is really good at that, so I will give him that. Like he's always like, "Okay,
Nice.
let's think about it. Let's do this." And he might
Yeah.
have OCD or something because he's always, looking at all the small points. And
Right.
me and my dad are like, "Let's just go. Let's go, go, go."
You need all types. That's what makes the best team, working together.
Yeah,
Does he
my
also
dad and
work
my
with you guys?
it's my dad and then me. Well, it's my dad and his brother and then me and my
Okay,
brother. That's the four that
gotcha.
we have right now. And
Yeah.
then we're looking to hire this year, so we might have. I think one is my cousin
Mm,
that's coming on right now, and then
nice.
we'll see how it goes. But we have a
Yeah.
good dynamic. I know, like you've always said that your parents have been super supportive.
Hmm.
You have siblings, I think, that are getting into this too, right? Because like
Right.
with
Yeah.
my family, everybody's been super supportive. My mom likes to take the credit that she was the one like you should do HVAC, and she always gets upset when I don't mention her, but um, they've always been
She
super
got the shout out.
supportive. Yeah, they've always been super supportive, and we've never had an issue working together. Now my dad and my brother butt heads sometimes, so we know now not to have them on the same job site unless it's like a big project,
Meeting.
and
Yeah.
there's enough things to do. But we've been really good. And like I
Yeah.
said, your parents were really supportive. Did they
Hmm.
have questions or concerns when you wanted to be in the trade?
Yeah, I think most of it was about like protecting your body. And like I'm a woman, so one day if I want to have kids and I'm pregnant, how am I going to be like lifting compressors, you know? So those were the big questions, but they're like immediately I was like I can work in the office, I can be like back end of some sort. And there are people like my teacher, we called him coach in high school. He put us on conference calls with women who worked in the field and have kids and like learning about that work life balance and how they navigated all that. And I know that it's possible because I've seen that other people do it. So I'm not going into uncharted waters. I know that I can do it. And as long as I'm, always reevaluating if I'm being safe and doing the right thing for my mental and physical well being, then like I'm good to go. And that was the biggest question from my parents is just the uncertainty. I think they were a little scared, but there's
Yeah.
always a place for you in the trades. So they're very, very supportive. And I've been very lucky with just the community that I've found within the trades in general. Very supportive community.
That's a big deal. And that's really cool being able to talk to other women to kind of
Right.
give you that insight because I mean
Yeah.
you don't know until you talk to somebody that's been through it. Now, I've
Hmm.
had different women on the podcast, and I don't know, have you had any pushback, from either a work environment or customers as far as being a woman in the trade? Because some people have, I mean, everybody has different experiences, but like some people
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
a lot of pushback.
I like to say that I have like this real crazy struggle story, but honestly, I've been very blessed and I haven't really had much pushback. Like, I get some like judgmental looks and some questions once in a while, but I have so much support and like I basically put myself in the right environment, so there's zero
Yeah.
tolerance for anything like that would make me uncomfortable or like shouldn't be happening in the workplace. I'm very lucky with how everything has been for me. I think honestly, the most comments I get are from the old women customers that I like go into their houses. But it's not offensive, like they're just interested and I get to talk to them and explain like the path and they're usually like, "Wow, I wish I did something like that. Like I love that you're doing that." So it's all positive for me.
No, and I feel the same way. And, I'll ask people like, if they have any issues, any struggles, because I've heard of it before, customers refusing work either from and it could be
Wow.
a woman or it could be a person
Yeah.
of color, anything,
Wow.
they'll just, be like, no, you're not coming to my house. And they're going to call and try and get somebody else or
That's
whatever it is. So
terrible.
I've seen that with certain people that I've talked to. Now, like you, I've never had issues like that too much.
Right.
And if anything, whether you're a man, woman, or anything, you just have to know your environment, speak up for
Mhm.
yourself, and in the trades, you can always find something else because
Right.
now, whether it's something at work that is not making you feel comfortable, or it's the pay or whatever it is, like you can always go
Right.
find another place of work. Like there's always a
Always.
demand. So I always tell people,
Yeah.
look, if this place is not cutting it, go look for another one. There's always going to be, like, every corner
Mhm.
has an HVAC shop, a plumbing shop, whatever it is,
Yeah.
looking for a
That
good
skill
tech.
is literally invaluable. Like someone's calling you out to do a job because they don't know how to do it. So they need your help to fix whatever. So if you're not going to do it, okay, bye, your thing is still broken, whatever it
Yeah.
is. Or if you're not being treated right or getting paid right, like you have that skill and nobody can take that away from you. So even if you're not finding another company to hire you, you can still sell your skill just like to your friends
hmm
and family and by word of mouth. Like that skill is so invaluable or valuable. It's so valuable, irreplaceable.
I like that you said that because that's something that I've always said. Like, if you learn a skill, it's something that cannot be taken away from you ever, right? You learn
Right.
it, take it with you wherever you go, and then keep adding to it. And if
Yeah.
you learn a trade or a skill, I mean, you eat for life. You can
Yep.
always put food on the table for you and your family. I know people that, like you said, you could have a stay-at-home mom or whatever it is, and it could be the mom or the dad, whichever is in the skill
Hmm.
trades. They can put food on the table. They can provide for their family. There's a
Yeah.
whole bunch of instances where you can work your way up. And I always say, like, it depends on what you put into it. I mean, that's a big part of it, but,
What you'll get out of
like,
it.
for
Yeah.
for me, we're a small company and I like being a small company, but I make
Okay.
enough money to do what I want to do. So, I mean, there's no
Right.
excuse.
That's all you need. Like, the point of life is not to work. As much as I'm all about the trades, like, that's not the only point of life. Like, you gotta balance. And as long as you can survive, like, I don't know, and be happy, that's what matters.
Oh yeah. That's my main thing cuz everybody's success is different. Everybody's
Right.
happiness is different. Like, my
Hmm.
happiness is being home every day, being home on the weekends, and having
Right.
enough work just to make, you know, a like a comfortable life,
Yeah.
money wise. I don't
Good.
want Personally, I don't want the headache because I know some people that have like 40 vans out there and they have like
Hmm.
whatever multi-million dollar or million dollar
Right.
companies. I mean, that's cool and all, but that's a lot of headaches. You're probably at
When you're in
work.
charge.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
like, you're probably at work all the time. Like, I'm just not into that because
Hmm.
I deal with enough just looking
Yeah.
after three other guys right now.
Right. It's a
Yeah.
lot. I will give that. Like I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit. And I thought that I
Mm.
would for sure own a company. But now that I'm working and learning all of it, I'm like, there's so much behind all of that that you don't think about. You're not just going in and like turning a wrench. There's so much more. I don't know if I would want all of that leadership responsibility. Like some people are meant for that, but I'm more meant for just like turning the wrench, maybe. I'll
I
delegate the
I
like
uh
office stuff
I
to
had to
someone else.
struggle. I had to struggle with that
Yeah.
because my dad's really good. People skills, landing jobs, all that kind of stuff, closing. Like, I don't know how he does it, but he's like the best at both, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, he's
Yeah.
in high demand for his work, and then
Mhm.
people are so loyal to him because of like how he treats
Right.
them and the
Good.
people skills and all that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I struggled with that when I started. I just wanted to get in and
Yeah.
out. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I'm like, I can fix it.
Yeah.
I'm really good at that. I'm not good at talking to people, but I had to
That's a
learn
whole
that from
nother
him.
thing.
Yeah, I had to
Yeah.
learn that from him and kind of study what he does and
Right?
change my thought process and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
There's so many things that like you don't think about. Those soft skills, like communicating with people, who would have thought that like speech class is actually necessary to like be a good technician? What?
Like I never, and that's probably one of the classes I'd like bailed on in college. But
Yeah,
doing social media, doing podcasting has kind of been my
right.
speech class
There
because
you go. Yeah,
I speak a whole lot better now than I did
yeah.
a few years ago, and I think the social media has helped me. And then being
Good.
comfortable talking to people, being comfortable in front of the camera, that kind of stuff. So that kind of
Hmm.
helped my business too. So that's a plus.
Good. Yeah, I love it.
You went to tech school. You were like an
Mhm.
instructor there too?
I was an instructor at a construction camp for girls.
Oh, the camp. Okay.
So, yes, that's not part of the school. I attended as a camper while I was in high school. And then when I was graduating, I kind of upgraded into a volunteer position and I led the camp. And we've started the camp in multiple different locations now. It's really exciting. I see a lot of growth for that in the future too. It's a free week-long camp teaching girls all facets of the construction industry, exposing them to real professionals, especially women, and what that's like. And, they get to work with their hands. So there's these 12-year-old girls leaving camp who know how to like use these power tools and work on things at home. It's really empowering. And you see the teamwork building, the confidence in their work, like actual hands-on work, and those communication skills and everything improving. It's amazing.
So you're still doing that.
I am. Yep. We do a week-long camp every summer in the Lehigh
Okay.
Valley in Pennsylvania. And then there's a week-long camp in Phoenix, Arizona as well. Hey, maybe if you want to start one, we can do one in Texas too.
We can talk about that.
Yeah. Your daughter
So
would
how,
be perfect.
I know, right? I'll make both of them go
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
um, so how is that? Like, how is it, dealing with the kids, seeing
Hmm.
them, kind of learn the skills and maybe you see the light, turn on for
Yeah.
them. How is that?
100%. I love it. It's probably the one thing that really keeps me going, like on those days that I'm not sure that I want to do this because I like had a really hard day or I didn't solve a problem or something. I remember like we're doing it for these girls to show them that they can do it. And like you really do see a change in them from the first day walking into camp, being like not even sure if they want to do that. My parents signed me up. I don't want to be here. I don't want to touch these tools to like the last day look at this whole wall that I built and I know how to do like everything at home. And they're just so empowered and yeah, inspired. We give them a toolkit that they can bring home with them. Like I love seeing all the progress.
That's
And
cool.
we've placed these girls into fields as well. Like past alumni campers have worked in the field now. We have an architect, we've got lots of a drywall girl, a carpenter, an electrician, lots of painters, some plumbers. Like we've got everyone. It's so cool.
Oh, so you help them out afterwards and all that,
Hmm.
continuously
Yep.
because that was a cool thing that my school did, my community college, is
Hmm.
they were like, once you graduate, let us know and we'll connect you with because they always
Right.
had companies that were ready to take on
Yeah.
apprentices and
There's
stuff
so
like
many
that.
companies hungry for employees. And even if you don't know anything, if you have the motivation or like some type of skill, they'll hire you and teach you what that you need to know. There's so many companies out there looking for employees.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
then, like I said earlier, there's a lot to unpack here because you help with the camp, and then
Uh-huh.
do you also help with the skills jam? I heard about that one.
Yeah, so that's like a social media initiative. We just started
I
that
think I saw
not
one
too
from
long
here
ago.
because there's a kid from Brownsville. I think I saw him post up.
Okay.
That's actually
Yeah.
like 45 minutes away from me.
Cool. Yeah, we have there's people everywhere. It's really cool. They started 2 years ago now, and I went to the national competition because my sister was competing in the plumbing competition
Oh,
at Skills USA, and Skills Jam was documenting that Skills USA competition. So they are separate, but they work together. And then I was like, this is really cool, and I'm already posting on social media. Let me go check it out. So we've been working together now, creating content for the next generation, showing people what it's like to work in the skilled trades and, all that kind of stuff.
yeah. I think I've seen some people that I follow that they're
Yeah.
maybe ambassadors or something like that. So I knew
Hmm.
it was a social media thing and it's like a trade
Yeah.
awareness trying to get the kids into it. So I think that's really neat.
Yeah, and they share a lot of really cool stories too. They've got videos on YouTube as well as
I
Instagram and TikTok, even though
saw
I think
the
TikTok's going
YouTube.
away.
Oh, I know. I saw
You,
the YouTube
yeah,
stuff. You had interviewed that one guy that
Ty Pennington.
there you go. I was like, his name is right
Yeah.
there. How did that come about? Because that guy, he's on the home improvement side, right?
Yeah, yeah. So he does home improvement shows, and Skills Gym had him out for the Champions League series. So they have he's like the host of this show showcasing this team that like built stuff. And he's like talking through the process of that, and he's at that competition. So he was there, and I was there at the same time. We were doing separate projects and different
Oh,
things.
okay.
Then I was like, I have to meet him and
Yeah.
ask him what it's like. So like we just kind of like ran into each other and I filmed all that. It was really cool. That was an experience, not what I expected my life to look like, but I'm very grateful. Like that was really
Yeah,
cool.
because I was looking up Skills Jam because I was interested just to see like what it was about, and then I saw you
Hmm.
interviewing him. I'm like, I know that guy. I was
Yeah,
like, that guy's on
yeah,
TV doing all that home improvement stuff
yeah.
and the
Right.
shows and everything. How was he? Did he give you advice or
Yeah,
anything helpful?
he's really down to earth. Like everybody says, like when you meet celebrities, you expect like they're just like this high intellectual breed, but like he's just a man, you know? And he's like,
Yeah,
I
blue
love
collar
just
guy,
being here.
basically.
Yeah, literally. So it was really cool just to talk to him about like his experience and get like, do you have any advice? And he's like, learn as much as you can, absorb it all, and like be that person who is valuable. And I'm like, I love it. This is exactly what I needed to hear to
Yeah.
just keep me going, you know? Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I'll link that video down below if anybody's interested in watching
Yeah.
that because I thought it was really cool.
It was.
So they have competitions. Did you get to see the competitions? Oh, you said your sister was in it, right?
Yeah, they have so many different competitions. So if you don't know what Skills USA is, you should definitely check that out. They start at the regional level, like within your schools. Then there's a
Okay.
state competition, and if you place high enough in a state competition, you get to go to nationals. And there's so many different skills. So my sister was in a plumbing competition. There's multiple different HVAC competitions. There's this teamwork competition where it's a team of different skilled professionals who build basically like this tiny home. And then there's a whole
Oh,
bunch of like cosmetology, culinary, like there's so many different opportunities and robotics, like all the things, all the skilled trades in one area. It's in Atlanta, Georgia this year. You should definitely try to come check it out if you can, or see if you can get involved in your area. Skills USA is like
yeah.
the best organization. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Like I had looked into Skills Jam and I stumbled upon those videos and I was like, I didn't even
Yeah.
know about Skills
It
USA
is cool.
either. I think I
Yeah.
started following some of their social media too. So
Hmm.
definitely going to check that out. I'm learning a
Good.
lot
Yeah.
about all this, these events and competitions that I
Right.
never knew about. But yeah, I mean, I'm barely finding out about this. There's another one, HVAC Nationals, and they have different trades. They're on TV, national TV that
Yeah.
has competitions, like all this stuff I'm
There's so
barely
many.
finding out about. So it's really cool to see. How did
It's a
your
huge world.
how did your sister do?
She placed, I think, 15th in the nation. So I'm pretty proud of her.
That's
Yeah.
cool because I had a guy that I
Right.
just talked to do the HVAC nationals, and he's like, yeah, I was one of the 10 that got to go, and
Whoa.
he's like, yeah, I was top 10. I didn't even know, and he ended up winning the
That's
thing,
amazing.
and he was
Wow.
in his first, I think he's in his third year of doing HVAC. I was like, that's
Okay.
really cool.
That's impressive. Yeah. Yeah. So I competed at Skills USA locally my junior year of high school.
Mm.
And I got second place at states, and only first place gets to go on to nationals in the plumbing competition because
Oh
it's so high demand. So I thought senior year for sure I would get to place first at states and go to nationals, but they were canceled because of COVID. So I was
oh
like,
yeah, I was
this
gonna
is
say
like
like when did
I'm gonna avenge for my sister. Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna ask like when did COVID come into play? So that was around that time, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And my sister learned most of her plumbing knowledge either at home with me or virtually because they weren't going into school for like
I
two
heard about
years.
that. I heard
Yeah.
about some
So
people that
then
had to do trade school virtually.
right? It was weird, but like she learned enough that she could win first place at states and go on to nationals. So I'm proud of
That's
her.
really cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I also wrote down, I think you have a documentary or something that went up on the Sundance Film Festival. Is that true?
Yeah, yeah, yep. It's called Skilled. It features four skilled trade professionals, all in different fields, and I'm the first one of the four. It premiered at Sundance Film Festival. It wasn't part of like the competition at the film festival, but
Oh,
it
okay.
first came out there. And Vivica Fox was like the one opening it for us, so she was there advocating for the trades. It was so crazy. Really short story. There's like this green room, which is just basically like a waiting room before we went out onto the red carpet and everything. And she's in the room already. And then us four people who were in the documentary, we gather together and they take us down to this special room. I'm the first one down there, and Vivica Fox, who I didn't even like watch Kill Bill or anything. Like I didn't know exactly who she was. Like I knew she was
Yeah.
definitely like a big person, like important, but I didn't know who she was. She's like, "Plumber Paige," and I'm like, what is life
Oh,
right now?
wow.
Like, this is insane. Yeah. So that was like a really cool experience to share my story at such like a large scale to everyone. And that's on YouTube. It's by 3M. It's called Skilled. It's really cool.
Okay, I was gonna ask, is that online to watch it?
Yep. Yep.
That awesome. Social media has been such a big thing, just getting or anybody that's helping with the trade awareness. Because that's my whole thing. That's why I kept doing or kept posting was, get more
Mhm.
awareness. Because what I forgot to mention earlier was like I was at a birthday party. I think it was for our daughter, and
Okay.
we went to a pizza place. We were there. The kids were playing, and my girlfriend's cousin started asking me about HVAC because she's like, you're
Yeah.
the only person that I know that does it, and I see you
Yeah.
posting all the time. So she was telling me that her son, who was I think like in middle school, that he's
Okay.
interested in starting to learn that, and
Yeah.
that he sees a future in it. Right? And I'm like, oh, okay, I have so much to talk about. So we kind of
You
sat there
have
and talked a little bit,
influence. Yeah.
and I was like, look, if try it, see if you like it, and go online and watch all these people,
Mhm.
because you're gonna be able to see now in real point of view of like a service tech or an installer. Like everybody that
Right.
does anything is on social media now. That's a cool thing. So
Yeah.
I got
Agreed.
super excited.
Yeah, I love that. That's like one of my biggest things. Like I go to schools and I public speak and I share my story and
Yeah.
my experience, what that's been for me. But then I also tell them like now is your opportunity to explore all of the trades. Like if it's available to you, if you have camps, if you have trade schools, if you have employers looking for like internships over the summer or job like co-op opportunities, do it because like when you're living at home and your parents can pay for your car bill or whatever, that's when you
Oh
should be
yeah.
like, exploring everything. So do it while you're young and explore everything you possibly can. Try out the trades. It's a skill that'll stick with you forever, even if you don't work in the field forever.
Yeah. And like I said, just try it. You might like it, you
Right.
might not. I mean, I feel like there's a path or avenue for anybody because you
100%.
you can actually work behind a desk if you want to, but you can do HVAC
Yeah.
or plumbing or whatever.
Right.
You can be in the field, you can be on the control side, you can be
Hmm.
with a laptop everywhere programming things. Like there's so many
Yeah.
different things you can do, and I think that's
If
amazing.
you think you're into computers, like, but you still want to work in the field and be in demand, there you go. My sister learned plumbing in school with me. She works an office job at a plumbing company, but she takes these service calls
Oh,
and she knows what the customers are talking about. So
oh
instead of
yeah.
just some random person sitting at a desk, like, hey, this is wrong, she's like, oh, I know what you're talking about. This person's good at this. Like, let me send them out. You know? Yeah.
The One of my pet peeves is like going into a supply house and there's a kid there, or it could be an older guy. I've had an older guy too, and they
Yeah.
don't know a lick of anything of the trades, and I'm trying
Right.
to explain. I need this part.
What you need.
I'm trying to be as specific as I can, and they bring me like a whole bunch
The
of other
wrong
stuff I don't
things.
need. Yeah,
Yeah. That was one of my biggest insecurities. And I know we're going really long, I'm sorry, on the
it's okay.
podcast, but one of my biggest insecurities, like in the field starting out, was going to the supply houses and asking for something because, like, as a
Yeah,
young 16-year-old girl, you don't want to say the wrong thing. But, like, who cares? If you get it wrong, they'll teach you or they'll look at you silly and they'll give you the right thing eventually. Like it's actually okay to be wrong sometimes.
Hey, I was well, I still am, or I consider myself an introvert. But I was a shy
Hmm.
kid too, going into the supply house, and I was
Right?
like, you know, because I worked for my dad. I was like, Dad, why can't you go
Right.
get it? I don't want to go get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I went in there several times, and I learned from it because I went in.
Hmm.
Sometimes I didn't have the right part number. Sometimes I didn't like take a
Right.
picture or whatever it was, and they're like, "Kid, we got like 5 or 10 different versions of this. Which one do you need?"
Right.
And then
Yeah.
like, what is it called? I'm like, I don't remember. Like, I had all that. I
It does
hated it.
this, but I don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
And that was one thing I learned really quick. Like, especially
Hmm.
now with phones, like take a picture, write down the model number,
Right.
part number, whatever it is. Take as much information as you can. And if
Hmm.
all else fails, just take pictures of everything and then go to the
Right.
supply house. Or I like to
Yep.
use, everybody has like an app now or a website where you can look up parts or you can Google it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the easiest thing to do
Right.
now.
Yeah. Just type in the number or whatever. I always advocate for pictures. Videos is even better, and like read the manuals if they're
Oh
available to
yeah.
you. Like that's how you learn, and that's how I'm learning right now. You know. So
That was the only way that I did it because like I would read my books from school, but like reading manuals was like so great. Like you could just, and I
yeah.
still do it. Like if we install something that I've never seen before, I like we'll install it, we'll go through the manual, and then I'll take the manual with me, and I want it for
Right.
my own reading later. You know.
I'm not too prideful to admit that I like will read those things. Like some people like, ah, I don't need that. I know what I'm doing. Like I want to know exactly why these things work, exactly like how they do it. So
Hey,
yeah.
in the HVAC world, you can tell when somebody didn't read the manual because I go to these calls or this equipment
Yeah.
and like something's not installed or something's still left in the unit, whether it's like economizers or whatever it is that they
Right.
didn't do.
Yeah.
I was like, I can tell somebody didn't read the manual, so that's I think that's
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah. It's always better to be like over prepared in my opinion.
Be prepared. That's a good one. But
Right?
yeah, we've been here over an hour. I don't want to keep you too
I'm
long.
sorry.
No,
It's
I
been
could
good
talk.
talking to you.
Yeah, I was like, I could talk to, but I think we hit a lot of good points.
Yeah.
If there's anything you want to end on, I'll leave all the links to different things that you got going on in the
Hmm.
description so people can check it
Yeah.
out. A lot of trade awareness, trade promotion. I love it,
Right.
and I
Yeah.
love the books. Keep
Thank
doing that.
you. Thank you. Yeah. So, like, everybody go follow me and buy my books and
Yeah.
check out all the resources. We're always coming out with new content somewhere. So, Let's Build Construction Camp, Skills Jam, Plumber Page. That's, yeah, where you can find me.
I'll link all that. And thanks
Yeah.
again. I appreciate you for taking the time to come out and sit down.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know you got a lot going on. You're super busy, but I appreciate it.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you for having me. It's been great talking to you. Hopefully, we can see each other in Orlando soon.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right.
Everybody watching and listening, I appreciate you all for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.